Alright everyone, the moment we all be waiting for. The Witcher 4 trailer just dropped and the hype is real, right? Well, maybe not. Today we are diving into what's been making the rounds on the internet and asking the big question. Is Witcher 4 really worth the hype? The developers made their own trailer breakdown video, but let's talk about what we are seeing in the trailer and why, in my opinion, The Witcher 4 might be a major misstep if it goes down the path it seems to be headed. First off, the big reveal in the trailer. It's obvious. Ciri is the main protagonist as a Witcher, and this is where it starts to feel uneasy. There is the thing. Ciri was never a Witcher. She was trained by Geralt, sure, and she's an amazing fighter, but her story and abilities are rooted in something entirely different. She's Elderblood, a magical lineage that lets her do crazy things like travel to worlds and manipulate time. This is not a simple pick up a sword and drink some potions situation. So, how exactly would Ciri, who isn't a Witcher, become one? That's the first question I have, and honestly, I just don't see any reasonable explanation that makes sense within the established lore. If CDPR is trying to explain this away, I'm afraid it's gonna break the entire Witcher universe in its process. Let's talk about the Trial of Grasses. If you're not familiar, this is the brutal ritual that turns young boys into Witchers. They drink mutagenic potions that for the vast majority of participants are deadly. The survival rate is something like 3 out of 10, and that's on boys who are around 10 to 12 years old, far younger and more physically adaptable than Ciri. Ciri, at the end of The Witcher 3, is an adult. She's a fully developed woman with a mature body. Even if we stretch the imagination and say the cat school might try this on her, because, let's face it, they're pretty shady. The reality is she'd likely die. There's no way she survives those trials, and making this work would be a huge stretch. Even if we entertain the idea we saw in the books, that drinking any potion without being a Witcher has immediate consequences. Take the incident where Ciri accidentally drank some white seagull, the potion designed to temporarily enhance reflexes and awareness, but it had an adverse effect. She ended up in trance state. The outcome was catastrophic, so if drinking potion like a seagull had a bad outcome for her, imagine what the full Trial of Grasses would do. Now, let's also address Ciri's abilities. Her powers are fundamentally different from Witcher mutations. While Witchers gain physical strength, agility and enhanced senses through their mutations, Ciri's powers comes from her Elderblood. It's kind of a unique magic, not tied to potions or mutagens. So even if she becomes some kind of a Witcher, the potions wouldn't even affected her in the same way. To make her go through the trial and somehow become a Witcher just doesn't track with what we know about her abilities or her story. It's like trying to fit the square peg into the round hole. It's not supposed to work. Let's not forget one of the most important aspects here, Geralt and Yennefer. These two care deeply for Ciri. They both went to extreme lengths to protect her, even in the face of overwhelming threats. Do you really think Geralt, who's been through the horrors of the Witcher trials himself, would let Ciri go through something that could kill her? He's already watched too many people die, especially those close to him. Yennefer, with all her wisdom and protective instincts, would never allow this either. So even if she somehow found a way to do it, it would go against everything these characters stand for. They would never let her undergo the trial, even if she insisted. And let's talk about the cat school for a moment. The medallion series wearing in the trailer is School of the Lynx medallion, not a cat school one. Important distinction. But we can still talk about the cat school's willingness to push the boundaries. The cat school is known for being more morally grey. And we know they were a bit more experimental with their practices. Could they potentially try to mutate a woman, something that's never been done before? Sure, it's possible. The cat school is known for bending the rules. But even then, this opens up a whole new set of questions about the survival rate of female witchers. If 60 to 70% of boys didn't make it, how many girls would? Would they even survive the process at all? Here's the thing. The trials and the witchers are tied together. There is no such a thing as a witcher without the trial of grasses. Even if you had a great sword and ton of magic, without the physical enhancement the trial of grasses provides, you're not a witcher. They're mutated humans. Their strength, agility and resistance are the result of those trials, not some fancy sword and magic. And let's not even mention the fact no one alive knows how to perform the trial of grasses in its original form. The Uma/Avalech incident was a whole different beast. It wasn't traditional trial at all and ended up with death. So don't bring that up as an example. The biggest issue I have with all of this is how it will break the lore we've grown to love. The Witcher Warlord is built on a strong foundation of rules. Rules that are consistent even with all the magic and fantastical creatures. But if CDPR goes down this path of turning Ciri into a Witcher, they'll have to explain it so much that it will seem forced. They'll have to justify every single detail, and honestly, I don't think it'll hold up. Fans of the books and games are going to be pissed, and it could end up feeling like a major mess. And finally, let's talk about the missed opportunity here. CDPR had a chance to make something different, something fresh. Imagine if we could create our own Witcher, choose a school, craft our own story. That would have been an amazing way to keep the franchise going while also introducing new characters and new lore. But instead, it looks like they're going down the road of revisiting Ciri, which feels like a missed chance to explore something new. So, after all of this, is Witcher 4 really worth the hype? In my opinion, not, unless they can explain a whole lot of things that simply don't add up. If they try to make Ciri a Witcher, it's going to feel like a cheap trick that damages the lore and makes the world of the Witcher less believable. If she's just a sword-wielding magician with no mutations, then she's not a Witcher, and can't drink Witcher's potions without serious consequences. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've got a good reason for this and they'll make it work, but for now, it feels like a major fuck-up. And I think they had a biggest chance to create something fresh. A new Witcher, new story. Instead, we're getting this. I'll keep an open mind, but I'm not holding my breath. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Witcher 4 can pull this off, or is it a step too far? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss my next video. Until then, keep gaming.